I'm waiting for. When I first started, like I said, I started with palm wine, bottling palm wine. The bottle is like your beer bottle, your star beer bottle, because you have to start from something that is readily available. I used to collect those bottles from beer parlor and go and rewash and bottle. And that has been what is being used for the last 20 or 25 years. And I decided about 7 years ago that everybody just keep on doing this, and the bottles were getting scarcer. And then the beer company were putting their logo on some bottles now that you cannot find anywhere. You must not use them anymore. Then it occurred to me that if I can see canned Coca-Cola or canned malt, why can't we see canned palm wine? So our company became the first to can palm wine. And when it was about to start selling very well, the CBN came with a policy, I think about 5 years ago, that can was one of the 40 prohibited items on the prohibited list. There are some policies that government put in place without taking cognizance of the needs of the small producers. And I've had experience of where I was canning Eng.Olu, Muyiwa, jollof rice in 2004. And I went to go and pay for can at Kano Metal Box, and the cans were not good. And it spoiled my whole product. I was in court for 3 years with minimum payment back as damages. So we had to import cans into can, and people were beginning to like it. That policy came in, just killed that idea. And when I went to a company that is making can in Agbara, the minimum they want me to do is 1.5 million cans at the rate of 30 something. So I first of all have to go and look for 45 million naira just to produce cans alone. Which small company can do that? These are things that federal government should say, okay, if you are importing this item for more than this volume, it's not allowed, or you will not qualify for foreign exchange. But for a starter who wants to import maybe 10,000 or 100,000, that is nothing. Why can't they encourage them? Because the experience they will gain there and the money they will make can allow them now to go and buy bigger volume of cans when they have the funds. So that policy killed that. And so 2 years ago, I finished my research. And again now, we are the first to now can the same palm wine in now PET bottle anywhere in the world. That's the same palm wine that my first product in 1984 now is available in PET bottle. We've started exporting. We're going to make it available in Nigeria very soon. After that, the next thing was the pounded yam. I told you the story that we experimented in my wife's kitchen for in 1988. And then people saying, can't you do something else? We came up with cassava flour, fufu. There are so many companies making cassava fufu now. I will tell you something. Before I came with the concept of pounded yam, what people call pando yam now, in 1988, the popular food among Nigerians in diaspora was what we call gira, and gira is just like ground rice or semo. Eng.Olu changed diet, at least the swallow habit of Nigerians in the whole world and some Africans. Now you have so many brands of pando yam. Ayola, Mimi, this, that. But they all recognize that I was the pioneer, the pace setter, and the concept. Fufu came in, and then I came in around 1996 with the concept of peel beans. I see people when they want to make akara, they have to soak the beans overnight and then That's too laborious, especially in overseas. Again, all this thing came to me because I was living abroad then. That if you're a caterer, you want to do moment for a party. Imagine the wahala of the trouble of soaking and then peeling your hand. So, came up with the concept of peel beans, whereby within 15 minutes you can start making your moment. Then later on, I think around 2004, that I was satisfied that my normal African foods has been popular, everybody is recognizing it. I thought of taking money from the pocket of the Europeans. They will not eat pounded yam, they will not eat fufu, probably they will not. They loved dodo and jollof rice, right? So I came up with canned jollof rice, canned moimoi, canned Aiyegbusi stew. Yes. We started producing in 2000. And the plant was well set up in Nigeria. But by 2002, there was mad cow disease. And so European Union and especially UK banned poultry or meat products coming to European Union. And you cannot make a goosey stew without some shower now. You cannot make a moimoi without some things inside. The shower we use and some of this we use, if we stop it, people will say, it's blank, it doesn't have anything. So that was what also killed the concept of those canned food. But we are coming back with those now again. So the concept, therefore, was to take money from Europeans. And I realized that the first thing that I can get them for them to recognize about me, they like snacks, like potato chips, all right, crisps, or granite, or things like that. So I thought of plantain chips. So I came up with the concept of plantain chips by 2004-05, and it has caught on with wildfire, all right, in overseas. We export container every week. Yeah. And recently, we've just added sweet potato to it because Nigeria has a lot of sweet potato. And we thank God because my vision then was to be the leading global brand for African packaged foods. And that vision was based on 3 principles: quality, reliability, innovation. Consistent quality in products, reliability in supply, not that it's available today, not available tomorrow. Finally, even if I achieve the first 2 and I become the leading global brand, if I do not innovate or reinvent myself, people coming behind will catch up and leave me behind. So we keep on innovating and reinventing, either by product or by packaging or by combination of both, to make sure that we at least are among the top brands. So, and that's what my children have not latched onto now, that they are carrying on. And because I introduced them to the business when they were young, I won't let them go and play on Saturday. No, don't go and play. Oh, yeah, go to the factory, go and see how we are producing. They were not happy. They complained. But thank God today they've now appreciated what they have, because they've seen it. They were exposed to it earlier on. It didn't become strange to them. Thank you. I encountered this during my workshop all over the country. Maybe out of ignorance or for whatever reason, once a typical Nigerian or African hears preservative, they panic. Chemical, preservative. It's going to kill me, it's going to kill me. And I explain it every time I have the opportunity that we forget that even we human beings, we are biochemical. Most of these people that are afraid of chemical, preservative. Do they know that the salt you put in your soup is chemical, sodium chloride? The sand you step on is a chemical, silica. Your body is actually formed mostly through protein. You only need carbohydrate for the energy to breathe. The starting block of protein is NH, which are chemical. There's nothing wrong with chemical. I'm hearing some people now say, chemical fertilizer, inorganic fertilizer, organic fertilizer. That's why we have the World Health Organization, WHO. And their agencies, and even federal government, some agencies of government internationally and locally, have set standards of chemicals you must use. After all, is it water that we use to spray our farm produce to prevent insects or something? Is it not chemical? Do you therefore stop drinking orange or eating watermelon or stop eating cassava? Why do you say, chemical? Because there are measured amount of chemicals you must use per so much kilo or per so much volume of something. If you use it within that context, there's nothing wrong with chemical. All right? Once you use it to the permissible level, is when you overuse it that chemical becomes a problem to the consumer. And WHO has set the standards. If your wife over puts salt in your soup, will you be able to eat it? It's the same thing. There's nothing wrong with salt in soup. In fact, if it's not there, you say, this soup is not sweet. So once you put it in the right amount, it is good. I've seen it grow. Some farmers will say, maybe the more chemical fertilizer I put on this, my yam, it will grow bigger. I want my yam to be big. It's going to spoil the yam. So there's nothing wrong with chemical. And they are necessary in giving us fresh produce. Because some produce will last 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. I want them to feel as fresh as when they were made. Those chemicals, the amount has been given to us to use as permissible. And we fumigate our premises now. At least industrially, you're supposed to fumigate. Even my street here, we have a fumigation company that comes. We call it deratting. And when you fumigate, you see cockroaches running around. You forget that those things also disperse into the air, you breathe them. But we know that the residual amount of that in the air will not be injurious to us. Unless you are a green person that wants perfect environment and, I don't want that. And I don't mind those people who feel like green environment, everything must be perfect, there must be no CO2 emission, there must not be this, there must not be inorganic fertilizer. That's their own passion. But one thing I know, and I can tell them, is this. With the world population almost exploding, if you are going to go green, 1/3 of the population will die. Because we won't be able to produce enough food for them. If you are going to go on all these perfect, organic, no this, no that, we won't be able to produce enough food for food security for everybody. That's the fact of life. So there's nothing wrong with chemical. Yes, some of the products need chemical to be added. Some don't. For the freshness to prevent spoilage during the storage period. But they must be used according to WHO permissible quantity. Thank you. I cannot tell you of my dream, but it depends on the aspiration, the vision, and the tenacity of the new operators. Because I would not be running it then. My dream would be that it will still be one of the leading global brands of packaged African foods. My dream is that it will be financially stable, buoyant, that it can fulfill its social responsibility. And of course, we know what that social responsibility is. When a company as such is very buoyant and is healthy, it can decide to sponsor Green Eagles. It can decide to go and give gifts at motherless homes. It can decide to give scholarship. Those are social responsibilities, giving back to society that has given something back to you. Those are my dreams. I hope, I pray I'll be alive as an old man, maybe not all my truth gone, and just sitting down and looking at the new operators then, who will be men and women of caliber, and just looking back and smiling. And I hope God grants my wish. Mentorship in itself is not even necessarily about finance. It is about giving information to somebody coming up so that they do not repeat the mistake you have made 10 years, 5 years ago. Let them make a new mistake. That is even bigger than money. I can give you 1 million, but don't have an idea what you're doing, and you go and flaunt that money, the 1 million is gone. Well, I'll give you an advice or a way to tackle a problem, and it can save you more than 1 million. So we should not confuse mentorship with aid. Giving somebody money is aid. That's not mentorship. Giving money can be mentoring, but it goes beyond that. When I had time, I was a mentor at Eng.Olu Foundation, but I've asked for a break just to catch myself. Since I've been doing this program with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council in the last 6 years, I've encountered individuals, young ones, that needed help. I cannot help everybody, obviously, because if you try to help everybody, you become poor in the process. But there are few that I've helped set up in Benue, in Ilorin, in other places. But there's a limit to my cash generosity. But there are lots more, old, young, that come back to me. Excuse me, sir, I want to do this. And I say, don't do it that way. If you do it that way, you will not make money. Do it this way. That's more than money. All right? And that there are many more like that. Up to today, I'm still getting calls from all over the nation. How we can do it. That's mentorship. And I'm doing that. But don't forget now, mid-60s, I'm at the retirement mode. I don't have access to cash when I was running company. Because the new operators, the MDs, the general managers will not allow me to even touch the money anymore. So I'm a pensioner now. My first hope is that if people realize the opportunity that lies in there, just like I did when I was young, if I had the mentorship that they are having now from me or from other people, maybe I would have gone further than this. So there's hope. I've told you about 3 trillion getting lost. If I can operate something that can bring me 100 million, even 50 million for a start, my community will notice that I'm different. The kind of clothes I'll be wearing will be different. Yes. And then I'll be able to employ people to operate at my factory. So the payment I give them will affect their family and the community. And then the payee that the local government or state government comes to collect will increase the IGR of that community. Therefore, I'm developing that community. There's hope. There's hope in 3 trillion. We just need to be bold. Have clarity of purpose. And the government is trying. Most Nigerians are ignorant of the fact that there are funds that this government is making available through CBN and other sources, Bank of Industry, BOI, Bank of Agri. I know people who say, oh, the requirements of the bank and this and that. Apply first. Don't just sit there and say, oh, they won't give you. Already they have negative mind. No, they won't give you. They will ask for this after that. There are different categories of grants and funding that the federal government is putting in place that young people can latch onto and start something. I know it's not easy because I've been through it. But don't give up so easily and say, no, it won't happen. They won't give you. Whether it's on rice milling, whether it's on cassava program, whether on Fadama, Sometimes it's not even giving you money. They may say, let me come and clear your land for you instead of this hoeing. Do you know how much it will cost you to go and rent a tractor to clear that? That's gotten you going. So, but what I notice is that when I go around is that people expect government to give them money. Give them money. They don't want you to give them the equipment. They don't want you to give them the seed. Give me money. And when you give them money, whether through microfinance or something, the first thing is to go and marry extra wife or to go and buy a car or buy Okada. And government have learned that this money is being pilfered away. So the only way you can get now is we buy something and give you. So there is hope. There's money. But young people especially, should start seeing problems and challenges. They should start seeing opportunities and challenges. I know a lot of opportunities that is cracking in my brain. But I can only share it appropriately at appropriate places. So there's hope. I know how much millionaires they have created in either Kebbi and Sokoto in the last 4 years on rice, among the rice farmers. Now we are beginning to appreciate our own rice, yes? Do you know how many millionaire young people will make from cashew nuts? I'm telling you. And I can go on and on. Because the way to go is to create wealth. And you can only create wealth by adding value to your gift. If you sell 1 kilo of cassava every day and I sell 1 kilo of cassava, making 15 naira, you are not richer than me. We are both equally okay. But it takes 3 kilo of cassava, which is 3 days, to make 1 kilo of cassava flour, which government has said you must add to confectionery flour now. You know, it's a policy. So if for 3 days you are going to the market to sell cassava, 15 naira, at the end of 3 days you make 150 naira. I will sell my 1 kilo of cassava flour after 3 days for at least 400 naira. Who is richer? Thank you, my brother. That's the resolution. In closing, therefore, I will say this. You may be comfortable working for others, but you can never be rich or worthy working for others. Who is Dangote working for? Himself. Who is Bill Gates working for? Himself. If you want to live a comfortable life, get salary, maybe rent a house or build a bungalow, send your children to good schools, it's okay. And eat 3 square meals, it's okay. But one day they will ask you to retire from their job and employ somebody else. Abi? Who is going to ask Dangote to retire? It's his business. Unless it's just for health reason, he wants to step aside. Or Bill Gates. So, you may be comfortable buying a car, putting petrol, buying diesel for a generator, sending your children to school. But you're not worthy. Depending on your level of ambition, you're not worthy. Because there are 3 types of wealth most people don't realize. There's material wealth, there's time wealth, and there's philanthropic wealth. When you're working for yourself, number 1, you wake up when you want to wake up. You don't wake up at 5 a.m. because of traffic. You must report a light job at 10. I wake up when I want to wake up. I will sleep when I want to sleep because I'm thinking of my business. So I'm worthy in time. I'm not at anybody's beck and call. I know how to organize myself to be a successful businessman. So my time is in my hand, not in anybody's hand. That's being worthy in time. And if I draw my business properly, I'll be wealthy in terms of material. That means cash flow. Yeah? And when I'm worthy in both of those things I've talked about, I'll be worthy in giving to others. Philanthropy. You see Bill Gates going around, he's doing polio vaccination free or in the northern states. He's giving something free in Kenya. is giving something free in India. That's philanthropy, giving. It's because he's worthy in time and in material. He doesn't have to report in any office. He will be in India. I'll be listening to the speech he wants to listen to. He will not be looking at time, maybe for business. I can give my time because I have the time, and I can give material because I have the material. Those are the three types of wealth. Thank you very much. My name is Engineer Muyiwa Olu Aiyegbusi, popularly known as Eng.Olu among my well-known people. The African Plus TV network online is doing a good job promoting the economic and business interests of Nigeria, particularly, and Africa as a whole, through impacting the youth in making accessible to them information, timely information, whether in agriculture or other kind of businesses. They're doing a good job, and kudos to them. Let's encourage them by patronizing them so they can do more. I wish African TV network a successful operation years to come. Thank you.